welcome to a family edition of Life on Purpose.
All right, so for today, we'll be talking about communication, and in regards to communication, communicating to obtain an understanding.
Yes. For years and years in the relationship world, we've heard communicate,
Yes.
communicate.
Make sure you're talking, make sure you're communicating.
But what do you do when you're communicating? Well, we communicate, but he still don't understand me.
Right.
We're communicating, but we're still arguing about this. We're
Exactly.
communicating, but
At the end of the day, there's never a true resolution. What do?
moving from communicating, we have to get to a place where you communicate and understand
Yes.
the other person that you're communicating with. Communication is trivial without the understanding.
Yes.
You have to get an understanding. We're going to give you a practical example right from our own relationship. In our relationship in the infancy stage, Ebony would always say
I would always tell him, "You're not hearing me." I'll say, "Okay, but you're not hearing me. You're not listening to me. Like, you're not hearing me."
But I'm thinking to myself, I can hear you. I can hear you. You're communicating. I can hear you. But what was happening is that in getting the understanding, she wasn't really saying just, I feel like I'm not being heard. She was saying, I want you to be able to verbally repeat back what I just expressed to you.
Exactly. It's the acknowledgement. Yeah.
Acknowledging how I feel, taking co-ownership of my feelings and what I just expressed to you.
Yeah, and that's the crux of the matter. You and your partner, there should be a co-ownership of feelings. So whatever's being conveyed, we're both sharing the feeling.
So in communicating and gaining an understanding behind the communication, you have to really make sure that you articulate what you're trying to say to your spouse.
Yeah, and with articulation, like for me in the scenario that Joseph brought up, for me, so I have a tendency to use words as more than what they are. Granted, hearing is multifaceted, and that's where I was coming from. However, it's not the best means of communication. And it took me a while to master actually being able to convey my actual feelings. So one of the things that I figured out, like for me, I'm an introvert, and so a lot of things I internalize. So a lot of times all I know is that I feel some type of way, and it takes me a moment to really process my feelings.
But even with that, that's another classic example of us getting an understanding
Exactly.
of how she processes information.
Yeah.
I process information differently. So all of that is tethered to gain an understanding. You have to figure out how your spouse how they articulate information, how they process it, how they deliver information.
Yeah.
And same thing with me.
Exactly.
I process information differently. I internalize it differently. So you really have to just take your time and really delineate to your spouse all of those things, how you process information, how you deliver information.
All of it.
So a quick recap. You have to communicate. That's first of all. You have to communicate. And with the communication,
we need to make sure that we're obtaining an understanding.
Because without the understanding, the communication is trivial.
It is.
So thank you so much for joining us on Life on Purpose, Family Edition. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.